And Mayor Connolly, do you want me to share the screen and show you the agenda?
If you want to, that's fine. Yeah.
Perfect. I will. Let's see. Hope you can see the screen.
All right. Perfect. All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Greenville Urban Area Metropolitan Planning Organization Transportation Advisory Committee meeting. I am Mayor PJ Connolly of Greenville, and I'll be moderating this afternoon's meeting. First, I'm going to call on our city clerk for the roll call.
Okay. Mayor Connolly.
Here.
Mayor Jackson. Commissioner McLaughlin.
Here.
If you'll just announce yourself, Commissioner McLaughlin.
Yes, Melvin McLaughlin here.
Okay. Mayor Tripp. Board Member Thomas Taft.
Board Member Taft here.
Mayor Zach.
Here.
Okay. Mayor Pro Tem Glover. Councilman Tony Moore. Councilman Tony Moore.
Here.
Thank you.
Pitt County Commissioner Alex Albright. NCDOT Board Member Hugh Overholt. And non-voting member, MPO member Bill Marley.
Here.
And so just to clarify, voting members today are for Greenville, Mayor Connolly. For Winterville, it's Councilman Tony Moore. For Pitt County, Commissioner Melvin McLaughlin. And for Simpson, Mayor Zach, and for NCDOT, Board Member Thomas.
All right. Thank you very much. We'll now move on to the approval of the agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
Melvin McLaughlin, so move.
Mayor Zach, second.
All right. Motion's made by Commissioner McLaughlin, second by Mayor Zach. All those in favor say aye. Those opposed say
Aye.
nay. I'll call on our clerk for the vote.
Yep, and just as a reminder, since this is a remote meeting, all of the votes today will be by roll call vote, okay? So Mayor Connolly.
Aye.
Okay. Councilman Moore. I will come back to him. Mayor Zach.
Aye.
Okay, Board Member Taft.
Thomas Taft, aye.
And Councilman Tony Moore. I'm sorry, Councilman Moore. I think you're muted, sir. Motion passes, Mayor Connolly.
Thank you very much. Now I'm going to read the ethics, awareness, and conflict of interest reminder. Does any board member have any known conflict of interest with respect to any matter coming before the board today? If so, please identify the conflict and refrain from any participation in the particular matter involved. Good. All right, we'll move on to the public comment period. Anyone present that'd like to speak during the public comment period?
Mayor Connolly, we do not have any registered public comment speakers.
All right, we'll close the public comment period. We'll move on to regular agenda. Item number 3A. Ilya, you want to take us from here?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you.
Perfect. The first item that we have in the agenda is the approval of the last meeting minutes. They are located in page 3 to 6. And we are requesting the action to adopt the meeting minutes that are included in the packet, unless there's any comments or revisions to be made.
Board Member Taft, motion to approve the previous minutes.
Melvin McLaughlin, second.
All right. Motion's been made by Board Member Taft, second by Commissioner McLawhorn. All those in favor say aye. Those opposed, say nay. I'll call on the city clerk for the roll call.
Mayor Connolly,
Aye.
okay, Commissioner McLawhorn,
Melvin McLaughlin, aye.
Mayor Zach,
Aye.
and Councilman Moore.
Aye.
Okay, motion passes, Mayor, 4-0.
Thank you very much. Move on to 3B. Elliot?
Yes, the next item is on page 7 and is the 5310 operating grant letter of support for Pitt County Council on Aging. Let me scroll, get there. This is a draft letter that we're expressing the support for Pitt County Council on Aging in order for them to get to apply for this grant. Their application is required to have MPO or RPO letter of support in order to move forward. And you can see the draft letter in page 8. So we are requesting the TAC to approve the letter of support for our chair to sign it.
All right. Any objections to this, Mr. Zach?
I'm recused.
Do I have a motion to approve the letter?
So moved.
Melvin McLaughlin, so move.
All right, we'll do that in a second. How about motion was made by Councilmember Moore, second by Commissioner McLawhorn. All those in favor say aye. Those opposed say nay.
Aye.
On the clerk for the vote.
Mayor Connolly,
Aye.
Commissioner McLawhorn,
Aye, Melvin McLaughlin.
Mayor Zach,
I withhold.
oh, okay. Board Member Taft,
Board Member Taft, aye.
okay. Councilman Moore,
Aye.
motion passes, Mayor.
Thank you very much. We'll move on to 3C.
So the next item in the agenda is a presentation from Diane Hampton. Yeah, the presentation is on regards of the prioritization process update. And the last time we discussed this was by email, but that's when we were notified that the prioritization process was halted. She's going to go into the details of what's DOT's process and efforts regarding to not just the halting of the prioritization, also the new step, how they are addressing the issues, the financial issues. Is Diane?
Yes, hello, good afternoon.
Diane, are you there? Perfect.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, great. Thank you for having me here today. This is a presentation that's been shared with the Board of Transportation recently, and I wanted to review the same information with you today. Slide. Next slide. We've found that a project's cost can increase substantially over time, doubling or sometimes tripling from inception to award. Today, we'll review some of the information on that and the background on last year's reprogramming exercise. Additionally, there are several process improvements currently underway at the department that we will discuss. I think I got it. Do I have an echo?
Little bit of echo.
Okay, I'm trying to get rid of that. There's several process improvements currently underway at the department that we will discuss and give you a STIP programming update. It's a result of those process improvements, showing you where we stand to date and the challenges we face adopting the next STIP. As a quick reminder, is that better? As a quick reminder, our last STIP was adopted in September 2019 and spans the 10-year period of 2020 to 2029. The information we'll be covering today is regarding the development of the next STIP, which is 2024 to 2033. And by federal regulation, we must release an updated STIP every 4 years, and FHWA only recognizes the first 4 years of a STIP. Next slide. As far as the background goes, next slide. As I mentioned, and I'm sure you're well aware, project estimates have substantially increased over time. And oftentimes this is due to projects having low initial cost estimates due to limited knowledge of the project details at the early state, prioritization, and then programmed in the STIP. And you can see some of the more common reasons here, like not having surveys, traffic forecasts or designs, making early design assumptions like you may think you need an intersection, but you really need an interchange, and then the rising costs of right-of-way and construction. But these are certainly not the only reasons. Sometimes the right-of-way and utility impacts are unknown early on, and it's not until we get further into the project development phase that those needs and therefore costs become more fully defined. And right-of-way zoning can change over time to more costly commercial use. Additionally, if a project is brand new and is basically just an identified need when it first gets scored, a cost estimation tool, which we will abbreviate CET, is used in spot to estimate the cost. And this is a generic type of tool that bases its numbers on GIS data and relies on user input. So there's not much that goes into it as far as details, and because they're not known. Next slide. And if you remember, there was a reprogramming exercise last summer, and the need for that came from a multitude of project cost increases we received between September of 2019, when the STIP was adopted, and we were fiscally constrained, to June 2020. That, along with reduced revenues and cash issues at the time, resulted in the need to reprogram because we were no longer physically constrained. And then going through that process, we became aware that we really needed to improve the accuracy of our cost estimation practices. And this will lead to the improved stability of project schedules in the STIP. So there's many efforts underway, which I'm going to talk about. Next slide. There's a cost estimation improvement process. Next slide. And this came about from a committee of various DOT staff from several different business units that deal with cost estimates. And you can see the major findings we've discussed today: low initial estimates due to limited knowledge in early stages, and also a lack of central data repository for estimates, which can lead to multiple estimates for the same project. With their findings, they determined the goal was for DOT to have an ingrained process for updating estimates for all the various phases on DOT projects throughout the department. And the goal is to ensure estimates are being updated on a regular basis and shared with everyone who needs them, and of course, creating a central place that will help with efficiency. Next slide. So in order to set out these goals, to accomplish these goals, there's several activities underway. The cost estimation tool has been continually improved with each prioritization round. We now focus our efforts on express designs for each project. And this gives us a better cost estimate because you get more information to quantify prices. You get your right-of-way parcels and materials to construct the project. And secondly, we're ensuring that all cost estimates are being updated at least every 2 years, and getting a refreshed right-of-way and construction estimate as right-of-way is about to begin and the project is about to be let. And then we're working with our partners at NC State through ITRI, the Institute for Transportation Research and Education, to develop contingency values for right-of-way and utilities, and also construction. And next, a cost estimation application in SAP, an accounting software for storing and distributing estimates, is being developed. Next slide. I did not mention value engineering and value assessments are also being used. Next slide. The STIP cost review process, normally cost estimates are updated throughout the life of the project, and the STIP would be updated periodically, and then we would adjust as necessary for fiscal constraint prior to putting out a new STIP. But with the scale of the issue underway, we decided it would be better to get all the outdated estimates refreshed at once. so we would know the extent of the issue now and have time to address it. So with that said, we had over 450 projects with over 100 estimates, because each project has like 3 estimates: right away, utilities, and construction. So statewide, we looked at over 1,000 estimates recently and updated nearly every one of them. So that gave us more accurate cost figures for all of these projects, and we used the most up-to-date current data we could find, with a lot of them having express designs already completed. So we used the latest and greatest to refine these estimates, and we did get much better estimates for all these projects. And then the division engineers are already approving all of these through a cost memo process. So they are being looked at the top levels in each division. There's also a process called sticker, and that is to look at any projects that had an estimate that went over a certain percentage than it previous was, or $25 million, whichever is more. Now we're going to get to the interesting slide. We're going to look at some typical examples first. And just for instance, you can look at that James City project, went up almost 40% in cost. That's a typical example. And a lot of them are very much like that or more. Next slide. And then the Bridges Street Extension project went up 77.5%. So that's telling you how these things changed. And because early on you didn't know what alternates you were going to use, we didn't have the specific right-of-way or utility data. And so now we're trying to get all of that stuff before we do estimates. Next slide. This slide shows your 3 different cost areas. We've got statewide funds, regional funds, and division needs funds. And statewide overall, if you're looking at the committed and non-committed projects that we have in the STIP, is $4.59 billion over programmed, which means it's not physically constrained. If you look at the regional area that we are in, which is Region B, Division 2 and 3, we're $649.5 million over programmed. And then our division is $559.6 million over programmed. And that's based on the total STIP, which includes the committed and non-committed projects. Your non-committed ones are in the later STIP, usually after year 6 out of 10. Next slide. To go back and look at just the committed projects, which are in your first 6 years of STIP, if they got right away in the first 6 years. And we call those committed projects. And traditionally, committed projects, if they're committed, they'll be actually constructed. They don't have to get reprioritized. So statewide, we're still $3.78 billion over. Regionally, we're $455.1 million over. And in our division, we're $213.7 million over programmed, which means just looking at committed projects, we are over programmed in our 10-year STIP. So that's a big takeaway from this presentation, and that's why we've come to this point today. Are there any questions at this point? Okay, let's move on to the next slide. There are several things for the board to consider. Next slide. Inflation. Inflation is accounted for in the STIP by reducing available revenue to program projects. And it's the amount is evaluated as we begin each STIP development process. Currently, our policy is that revenue is reduced by $1 billion to account for inflation in the STIP. And the department is working with the board on how to handle inflation on future STIP programs. Based on economic condition at the time of the 2020 to 2029 STIP, inflation was set at 1%, compounded annually over time, and then it was held steady after the 5th year of the STIP. So that's where the $1 billion came from. Department staff will be working with the board to determine how to handle inflation on future STIP programs. One thing to note is that increasing the amount of assumed inflation will decrease the amount of available funding for projects in each of the 22 funding buckets. Next slide. The next items we will ask the board to consider had to do with items the prioritization work group will be discussing. So we wanted to give you a brief review of that work group. It's directed in the law that the department use a work group process to develop improvements to prioritization and states the department can have no more than 50% representation. So you can see here the makeup of that group. Half is comprised of MPO and RPO partners, along with local advocacy groups, and the other half is comprised of DOT staff, including division engineers and technical staff. So the work group is meeting monthly at this time. We're going through a lot of different scenarios on how to come up with our next step. We've got plenty of time. I don't have any news or any big revelations from the work group because they're still talking about what to do, because they're working on the inflation figure, and they're also working on how do we fund our projects in the step. We know we can't fund them all, so there's going to be a process where they go through and have to decide which of the committed projects will really stay committed. So, are there any questions?
Any questions?
Next slide. I'm sorry, that was a mouthful.
That was good. We appreciate the update.
Okay, you're quite welcome.
And after thank you, Diane, for the presentation. Within the agenda packet, page 28, the MPO put together a map to show the members, just a refresher of just going back to that discussion, what is committed and what is not, and the importance to know which projects are at the planning, they're planning projects, and the ones that are programmed to have construction. The ones on red committed are the ones that are programmed for constructions. The ones on orange are the ones that are in the last end of the step, which will be reprioritized again by the next cycle. The discussion, most of the discussion that Diane was showing of what the DOT is making and the work group is doing is about the committed projects, which projects within the committed projects will have to be reevaluated. And if any member has any questions after this meeting, feel free to reach out, and we could definitely further discuss any project in particular. And oh yeah, I forgot to say, within the same map that you're seeing, you will see the labels of when, remember last year we did the reprogramming and some of these projects were pushed back. You actually are seeing within the labels the years of the right-of-way acquisition and the construction.
Hey, the large orange one that looks like, is that Greenville Boulevard that's kind of goes through the center there? Right there, yeah, that one. Yeah, is that the sidewalk project?
That's correct.
Okay.
That project was scheduled for the end of the step. In P5, it scored higher, but it was going to be reevaluated again in P6.
Okay.
But
Thank
so
you.
far, it's just at the stage of planning project.
And then the other one I see up here that looks like it's for 2022. Looks like, I don't know how to describe it. It's the red one there. Is that Dickinson Avenue?
That is Dickinson Avenue, yes.
Okay. And what's the other one that is just above that one on Dickinson Avenue? The one that's committed, it looks like, for 2022 as well.
Oh, that's the
that's
a bridge replacement over Memorial Drive going northbound.
Okay. Okay.
And in this map, the symbolization is corridor projects are symbolized as lines. Intersection and bridge projects are symbolized by points, and also among the symbolized points is the citywide signal system that was also pushed back to 2026 and 2028.
We need that bad. We need to push that. We've been talking about that since I first got on the council, and that would be 10 years probably delayed from when we first started discussing when it was going to be implemented.
And I wanted to use the occasion to ask, is there any updates from the work group that from this presentation that that the Division 2 would like to share? Or any future decisions that the MPO board, the RMPO TAC board will have to review?
Ellie, this is Lynn. As far as I understand, that we're going to try to wrap up their process by the end of the year, but that's getting here fast. And I don't think they're going to meet that. It may be January or it could be February of next year, but they're trying to get in the short road, but they're not sharing any information with us.
Okay, thank you, Len.
Good.
So,
Move on to D.
yes, we are moving to the item 3D. May I explain the item? The item is on page 29 of the agenda packet. It is the amendment to our MTIP, our Metropolitan Transportation Improvement Program. We are adding a new project, and also we are modifying an existing project within our TIP. The amendments are the following. The first item, the HS 2002E, is adding a restricted crossing intersection at Greenway Boulevard at Old Pactolus Road. This is the one above the river. The project will be added for FY 2022 at the request of the Mobility and Safety Division. The other is a modifying 14th Street project that is from Red Banks to Fire Tower Road. That is the widening project to multi-lanes. There's a cost increase over $2 million on 25% threshold, and that's a cost increase from the cost of the existing cost, or previous cost of $18 million to $20 million. And we are requesting to approve the proposed amendments to our MTP, and attached you will see the resolution to be signed and approved by TAC, approved and then signed by the TAC, and then the list of projects with the breakdown of the cost per year and fiscal year. Does anybody has any questions?
Any questions? Anybody want to make a motion to approve?
I make the motion to approve the resolution to amend the program for 2029.
Anybody want to second that?
I second Melvin McLaughlin.
All right. Motion's been made by Mayor Zach, second by Commissioner McLaughlin. All those in favor say aye. Those opposed say nay. I'll call on the city clerk for the roll call.
And I just want to note that Mayor Steve Tripp has joined the meeting, so I will be including him in the vote. Mayor Connolly,
Aye.
Commissioner McLaughlin,
Melvin McLaughlin, aye.
Mayor Tripp. You're muted, sir.
Aye.
Mayor Zach,
Aye.
Board Member Taft, and I do not see him in the meeting right now, so I'll just note that he has dropped out. And Councilman Moore. Motion passes, Mayor Conlon.
Thank you very much. We'll move on to item number 3E.
And this item is located in page 32. It is the member number 1 to our Unified Planning Work Program. This board has approved the first iteration of the 2022 UPWP back in March, on March 9 of this year. The staff is proposing to amend the current UPWP in order to relocate existing funds to be used for a new study called the 10th Street Pedestrian Bridge Feasibility Study. The special study will use the funds that we previously allocated for the Uptown Area Mobility Plan as part of the special studies task. And this is what you see below is the language that will be replaced, and this is the description of the Uptown Area Mobility Plan, and then it will be replaced with the 10th Street Pedestrian Bridge Feasibility Study for the same cost. And the study seeks to develop conceptual designs and feasibility analysis for a pedestrian bridge over 10th Street at the Tobacco Warehouse District. The study will include evaluation of additional crossing alternatives, funding strategies, policy recommendations associated with public input. In addition, the study will provide planning level cost estimates needed for NCDOT's prioritization process and other funding sources to be identified as part of the study. So the action needed is if there's any questions, please let me know. But the action needed is to approve the proposed amendment. And attached in page 33, you will see the breakdown changes. You will see the removal of the cost from the Uptown Mobility Plan to the 10th Street. And you will see the change in language.
All right. Any questions? Anyone want to entertain a motion?
Melvin McLaughlin, motion to approve.
Mayor Zach, second.
All right. Motion's been made by Commissioner McLaughlin, second by Mayor Zek. All those in favor say aye. Those opposed say nay. I'll call on the city clerk for the vote.
Mayor Connolly,
Aye.
Commissioner McLaughlin,
Melvin McLaughlin, aye.
Mayor Tripp,
Aye.
Mayor Zach,
Aye.
Board Member Taft, I'll call him. I don't see that he's rejoined the meeting. Councilman Moore.
Yes.
Okay, motion passes, Mayor Connolly.
Thank you very much. We'll move on to item number 4. Other discussion items.
And the updates and announcement, is Diane or Len available for Division 2 updates? They are located in page 36 to 38.
Yeah, I think Diane submitted the construction report and the list for resurfacing, and the resurfacing is wrapping up for the season. All just left pretty much is striping and some shoulder work. We'll finish that up soon. US 264, the work from the Wayne County line at, the Wilson County line at Greene County, from there back toward Greenville is complete. All the work's done. There's a project being developed now for the signage to be dated to the Interstate 587. So sometime next year, hopefully that'll start getting done. That's all I have. Diane, if you have anything else?
No, that's all. If you have any questions, just let us know.
Thank you for getting those projects complete. I can tell you that I've had a tremendous amount of really positive feedback for many of those roads being repaved. Some were in really bad condition. So thank you guys for doing that.
I will pass that along. Thanks.
And Valerie, correct me if I'm wrong, but can you see TPD, Liam, Hogan Rivera, or Scott?
Let me see that. No, I do not.
Okay, we might have to skip them. So I'm going to, they were unable to attend the meeting. So the next item is the MPO staff updates. We have been involved in providing feedback for ongoing projects and planning documents, as well as scope meetings for projects that are ongoing. We among the projects that are still in development and you should receive, our TCC members should receive more information in the future, is the ADA compliance data web viewer that is still developed by Transmap. We still have working out some glitches. Hopefully by the end of the year, we will get the information to Winterville, Aden, and Greenville. The MPO has been involved in the CTP development, providing feedback for the highway recommendations and the bike ped. Hopefully by next meeting, December 8, we might have an update from TPD showing us the latest maps that the steering committee has reviewed. And we have as well, we have been working with the integrated mobility and enhancement plan as part of the request of last year for great area transit. And they have been, they are about to do the first public input meeting on December. And you should expect the municipalities that have reached out previously, and we are also going to send an email, but to all the others. But we are going to reach out to the municipalities that have expressed interest in the Great Area Transit to provide services to the jurisdiction. So that conversation will start as we are trying to review services expansion is one of the aspects included in the study, the ongoing study. And those are my updates. The next upcoming meeting is December 8th. It's going to be a joint meeting with the TCC. The future consideration items are going to be the draft Unified Planning Work Program of 2023, the statewide safety targets adoption, possibly updates for the prioritization process, and STIP. And I would like to take the opportunity to, if you have any requests for special studies in 2023, please reach out to me. We could discuss how much funding would you be needing for that project.
About 5 minutes.
And that's so far all.
Okay. Next item.
The next item is number 7, adjourn. If the chair
All right.
wants to put that to voting, or if there's any comments or any questions regarding the updates.
Any
Before
comments,
that.
questions? Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So
Elder
moved.
McLaughlin,
All right. How about we'll do a motion by Mayor Zek and a second by Commissioner McLaughlin. All those in favor say aye. Those opposed say nay. I'll call on the city clerk for the final vote.
Mayor Connolly,
Aye.
Commissioner McLaughlin,
Elder McLaughlin, aye.
Mayor Tripp,
Aye.
Mayor Zach.
Aye.
Right, and Board Member Taft actually had to leave for another commitment. Councilman Moore, Councilman Moore. Well, you do have a majority. Yeah. It does pass.
All right. That means we are officially adjourned. I hope everybody has a wonderful rest of the week. And since we won't see you, have a great Thanksgiving as well.
All right. You as well.
Same. Take care.
Take care.